Well, I think that's pretty cool because he traded Indy 500 for Monaco Grand Prix in the Formula One, and I think it says something by itself, you know. It's definitely great to have a world champ Formula One in Indy 500 race. It's gonna give more attention to this race. So, and it's gonna be very interesting for us, you know, the guys who are racing here full time. It's gonna be very interesting to watch him, how he gonna do. So the difference from European racing are ovals, you're right, but the thing is, the main difficulty on the oval is that you're going so much faster, and so you need to think faster, but at the same time you need to stay cool, and you know, you cannot be too aggressive because it can bite you. Another thing is obviously you need some balls to do it. So that's I think that Alonso will handle it well. I mean, he has pretty big experience in racing, so but it will be interesting still because oval is very, very unique in racing.
I think it's even broader than that. I think it's big news for the sport. You know, I think you know, it's going to be fun to be able to work with him and see you know, if he can bring a new type of thinking to it and what he thinks of it. You know, and I'm kind of liking that the F1 guys are being more open to coming over. They used to think we're crazy, but now now they're, you know, I think Rossi winning it might have enticed him a little bit, but no, it's going to be fun all the way through the month to work with him. I've always looked up to him as a driver as well, so yeah, it's good for everybody. I don't know. I mean, I got to put my name in the hat to be able to shake down his car for him, and then I can talk to him before he runs, and you know, if that's the case, then I'll tell him to go out there and just mad it, see what happens. I think anybody does. I mean, that's the beauty of IndyCar racing. You know, we'll see how he comes up to speed and stuff like that. But I mean, I'm sure he'll be fine. You know, Alex won it. You know, and it's a decent, you know, compare, I think, to him. So.
Excited. You know, I think it's it's huge for IndyCar, Verizon IndyCar Series, but motor racing in general. I think, you know, we've seen a little bit of, you know, people crossing over from NASCAR to IndyCar and vice versa. But you know, it's been some time since we've seen something, you know, from Formula One, and especially this weekend. You know, the Indianapolis 500. We know it's also their marquee event in Monaco, and for Alonso to make a decision like that, to do, you know, come in for a one-off. Requires, you know, a lot of confidence, and I don't know, I think all of us were, you know, somewhat shocked, but just so excited to have someone of his caliber and someone with his racing background to come and join the greatest spectacle in racing. That would be cool. You know, obviously there's a lot of political things that make these tough, but you know, I think you know, everybody would love to have the opportunity to switch racecrafts. You know, I know I've talked to Chip before about, you know, Charlotte or trying a Cup car at some stage. Formula One for me is never really been an option. I think for most people, you know, once you're kind of in your series, it sticks that way. But you know, obviously right now, I think with what Alonso is doing, it definitely opens some options, and maybe Honda can give me a ride in Formula One. I'm not sure I'd coach, you know, Fernando at all. You know, I think it's you know, when you're a driver coming to something new, you know, I think it's just important to ask as many questions as you can. You know, there's no dumb questions. You know, it's a lot to take in and get up to speed. But we know he's very accomplished. He's a hell of a driver. Maybe, you know, one of the greatest of all time. So, you know, on the driving aspect, I'm sure he's going to be, you know, he's going to be fine. It's just the procedures, you know, how you trim out for qualifying. But as anything, you know, just give it a little bit of time, and you know, someone of his caliber is going to be perfectly fine. Anything's possible. Indianapolis picks its winner, as I find, but you know, with a team like Andretti and with Honda, you know, I think he has a great opportunity, and as good as you know, some of the best teams and drivers, I think that will be running this year.
Well, the announcement came out, I thought someone was late on hitting send on an April Fool's joke, to be honest. But you know, the first thought was just surprised that, you know, a driver as competitive and as, you know, committed as Fernando was willing to miss Formula One's crown jewel race at Monaco to do anything else. But then it makes me think the other way. It just shows how much value the Indy 500 has and how special it is to racing drivers all over the world, not just here in North America. For him to miss, of all races, you know, Monaco, to come run the 500 for us, it shows how much it means to him. You know, the oval challenge is a huge one. I mean, obviously, growing up, racing his entire career over in Europe, he'll have never been on an oval, and it is a very different beast. But at the same time, there was a point when none of us had driven on an oval, you know, and racing drivers find a way to make it work. And he's as talented a racing driver as exists on the planet right now. And so I'm excited. I can't wait to see him behind the wheel. I can't wait to get his thoughts on, you know, really what he thinks about oval racing, what he thinks about IndyCar in general. And it's going to be a bit of a process for sure, but this is the best race to do it. We have a whole week of practice. He's going to get a practice day before he gets his rookie orientation, so he'll be well prepared. He's in a great car. It's great that he's part of the Honda family, and it's going to be exciting. If I were to give Fernando Alonso some advice, you know, as to getting himself really, you know, ingrained in the Andretti Autosport team, I think it's going to be actually pretty easy. He already knows Takuma and Rossi from their stints in F1, so that's done and dusted. He loves running, so him and Marco are going to be able to knock out 5Ks every morning together, which is going to be great. I don't know if he's a fisherman, but he should maybe brush up on that a little bit, because all Ryan really talks about is boats. And other than that, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty easy for him.